And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Township Council meeting for March 25th, 2024. Everyone, please rise if you can as we salute America with our Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful, please call roll and announce our statement of adequate notice.
Councilmember Hall?
Here.
Councilman Wendell?
Here.
Councilwoman Winston?
Here.
Councilwoman Zibicki?
Here.
Council President McAvoy?
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen?
Here.
Administrator Joseph Cuscolo?
Here.
And Township Attorney Anthony Iacoca.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231 Public Law 1975 by specifying the time, date, location, and, to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, you have before you Resolution 24-108, adopting our meeting minutes from 3/14/2024. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Second. Any questions or corrections on these minutes? Seeing none, Township Clerk, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zibicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes.
Thank you.
We have another resolution of recognition, honoring, and accepting the retirement of Sergeant John Breen, Resolution 24-109. May I have a motion?
Move to adopt.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zibicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes, Councilwoman Winston, would you please read into the record the resolution?
Absolutely. Resolution honoring and accepting the retirement of Sergeant John Breen. Whereas Sergeant John Breen submitted written notification to the Township of East Brunswick that he will retire from the East Brunswick Police Department effective April 1st, 2024. And whereas on December 23rd, 1996, Sergeant Breen began his career with the Township of East Brunswick as a police officer. He was later promoted to sergeant on February 1st, 2022, a position from which he retires effective April 1st, 2024. And whereas throughout his 27 years of service to the Township, he demonstrated exemplary characteristics to the Township of East Brunswick through his work ethics, dedication, leadership, team spirit, and enthusiasm to his duties. Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that Sergeant Breen's retirement is hereby accepted with an effective date of April 1st, 2024. Be it further resolved by the Mayor and Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that they hereby extend their sincere and grateful appreciation to Sergeant Breen for his 27 years of dedication and outstanding service to the Township of East Brunswick, congratulate him on his well-earned retirement, and wish him happiness and good health in the years to come.
Council President, if I may.
Please, Councilman Wendell.
John is a lifelong resident. Oh, sorry. John's a lifelong resident of East Brunswick. Known the family since late 70s, and his father was a police officer in town, and his retirement will be greatly missed by the residents of East Brunswick. He was a dedicated East Brunswick resident and, grew up in East Brunswick. So, I mean, he knew the town, he knew the people, and he knew what he was doing. So while I wish him the best of luck, it will be, there will be something missing here.
Thank you, Councilman
Thank you.
Wendell. Council, we have second reading regarding ordinance 2404. Township Clerk, would you please read?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick adopting an amended Route 18 corridor redevelopment plan dated November 23 in accordance with NJSA 40A:12A-7.
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion or points of clarification?
Just one thing, Council President.
Yes, Councilman Wendell.
Last meeting, I believe it was, we had a presentation
Right.
by the redeveloper, and in regard to the changes, and the redevelopment agency has adopted a resolution to put this forth to council to, indicating that the redevelopment agency approves of this and requesting that the township approve of it. So,
We'll be moving forward, right, Councilman Wendell?
certainly.
Certainly. Exciting time here in East Brunswick. Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we have to open this up to the public. Does anyone from the public wish to chat or speak to the council president on this matter and this matter only? And seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Maybe roll call now? Thank you.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
Council President McAvoy?
Yes. We can move on to our reports section. Mayor Cohn?
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple of things. First, as everybody in town should know, we have been in the process of wrapping and rolling out our new solid waste and recycling program. And despite some complaints on social media, but by and large, I believe that it's gone very well, and most people are extremely happy with the look of the new garbage cans. It's going to be a way in which we can, I believe, keep the community a lot cleaner, a lot less cans and material blowing throughout the town from receptacles that don't have tops. The schedule is pretty easy to follow. There is still a little bit of a problem with some residents adapting to some of the rules. Even tonight, as a councilman noticed on his way here, there are people who have 2 garbages out. They've got recycling out that's not going to be collected till Wednesday, but with their regular garbage in it, if you put garbage to the side of the township-provided receptacles, that will not be picked up. You get 1 solid waste, 1 recycling, and that's it. Not any of the stuff on the side. The arms will not pick that up. Saturday, unfortunately, we had made commitment to pick up the garbage cans that people didn't want to use as long as they wrote the word trash on it. But as we all know, we had a deluge of rain, and a lot of our DPW people were sidetracked to handling some of those issues, but the rest of that was picked up today. And then I believe next week they'll be doing the south side of the township for those individuals that want that their garbage cans picked up. So I think it's just going to be a little bit of adjustment for the township and all of us to get used to this new schedule. Give it a couple of weeks, and I think we'll be in a really good place, and most people will have picked up what the rules are. It's 1 receptacle for each family, but solid waste, as you know, is picked up twice a week. There's virtually no town that I know of that already does the automatic arms that does more than that. In fact, most do less. Most do garbage pickup once a week in the large bin and only get 1 bin. So we're going to see how things go for a couple of months, but we're going to stick to the plan, and that is 1 recycling bin, 1 solid waste for each household. What we have incidentally found in the process of doing this is that there's a lot of people that requested a second one because they're renting out their home, and the town didn't know about that. So now we do. So that was not a really smart thing if you're not renting as a legal 2-family house or rental. So now those things are being cleared up with the township as well because we didn't know about them. As you all know, Saturday was a really big rain issue for the township. I believe New Jersey statistics, it said it was in that same period of time, the 3rd largest amount of rain in the last 10 years. What that ends up doing is it puts an incredible strain on the stormwater system here in town, And there will be some areas in town, many of which we are already familiar with, and the township's DPW department goes out and makes sure all of the storm drains are cleaned throughout the town. But despite all those efforts, despite cleaning out some of the drains themselves, when you get that amount of water in that short a period of time, it often overpowers the system, which was never designed to be able to collect that much water, and people will end up getting some flooding. Most of the time, it's in predictable parts of town, sometimes not. But those are not things that we can predict. That's not something that the township can come in and redo all the water systems because of a once-in-a-100-year type of flooding that can occur. Those, most of the time, will drain. And unfortunately, as many of you know, February has been a really incredibly rainy month. So the ground is already soggy and wet to begin with, and now you have this massive amount of rain. The systems just were not ever designed to handle that. But I'm just asking again, people to be patient. Normally what will happen is even in those areas, the systems will catch up and it will eventually drain. And the town does a pretty good job ahead of time making sure that we catch all these things. But again, there's going to be rare events, and this was one of them, where no matter how good of a collecting system you have, the amount of rain just overpowers it, and eventually we just have to wait for that to go down. Other than that, nothing else really new on the town side, so I thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Business Administrator, Mr. Crisculo.
Just to elaborate with what the mayor stated before, thanks to DPW for, they were out Friday late clearing any problem areas, did a tremendous job. I was coming home on the Parkway on Saturday. They were literally using snow plows to get the water off the ramps. I mean, there was that much accumulation. So special thanks to them and to IWS that was trying to go around, pick up the old garbage cans. They had, I communicated with them today, they had tremendous participation. They had a lot of people that were in the program, that some people, not only that left their own garbage can, but that can had garbage in it. In those cases, when there was a bag in it, they politely took it out and put it on the lawn and took the old thing. And, resident has to put it out in their automated container, because Saturday was really for just getting rid of the old can. The cans themselves are carts. Let's call them carts, because that's what they are. They're for residential purposes only, residents. There were some small businesses that were running out of some places on Cranberry Road and stuff like that. They don't get carts. These are, our contract went out. It was specifically for residential pickup, specifically for the amount of residents that we have in town. As the mayor alluded to, we've had uncovered some places that they are in violation. They'll get zoning violations from the zoning officer. Some of them were legal two-family or three-family establishments. Those are the places where you'll see, one whatever, Rivet Avenue, A, B, and C, there'll be 3 cans there, because some residents are calling in and saying, my neighbor's got 3 cans. It's just not true. What it is, it's either 3 official residential units on a given property that's been already approved by the zoning board, or in some cases, they're just two-family houses and they might be in the middle of a development. In those cases, there's many ways that we certify that. There are many cases where on the books was a two-family and they weren't paying 2 sewer bills, so guess what? They are now paying 2 sewer bills as a two-family establishment for each of the units. So as the mayor alluded to, we are recovering that. So we don't pick up the Board of Ed's garbage anymore. We don't pick up anybody's garbage. Everybody is kind of on their own. We're in the residential garbage pickup in the carts. That is our agreement with IWS. Those establishments that need to get garbage service, most of them, or that we knew of, were mailed letters early in the year to establish their own pickup. There's been a couple of cases where they called in. We referred someone over to Mr. Baker's office before his retirement, and he has handled those, and those people have established their own collection. So it was the hot topic of the town for a while. People don't realize that for this current year, it costs $262.50 per residential unit. Plus, on top of that is the cost of the carts, which are $70 each, and then the disposal tonnage fee. So it's a fair amount of money on each one of those carts. So that's why people are not getting two, other businesses aren't getting any. It's residential pickup only. And that's all I got to say tonight.
Just clarification on that with the school.
Please, Mayor.
Yes.
Right.
With the public schools were always charged for garbage under our contract. The township would charge them in the past. We had not always been good charging them our annual increase, but the schools were always charged for garbage. The difference this year is we stuck to our contract with IWS, and we're only doing residential pickup, so the schools were asked to get their own contractor this year. But it's not true that the schools were always paying, they didn't get a free ride for garbage.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Criscuolo. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Iacocca.
There's nothing to report at this time, Council President.
Thank you. Our Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful.
Nothing to report, Council President.
A group that I forgot at our last meeting, I do believe. Township Council,
Nothing.
anything to report? Okay. Moving on. Let's move on to our public portion of the meeting. Ms. Lawful, can you please read our public comment statement?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council. The council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his or her discretion, may choose to respond, not respond, or ask the administration to respond.
Hit your mic. Did you just turn it off?
Yes.
Is it working? Can you bring that microphone a little bit closer and read that public
Want me to
statement?
read it again?
Read that statement again.
Sure.
You're more than welcome.
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his or her discretion, may choose to respond, not respond, or ask the administration to respond.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to address the council president? When you come up to the podium, please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Am I on the mic or,
You're good.
okay. I'm here about the
Can we get your name, and could you spell it for us?
Howard Malkin, M-A-L-K-I-N.
And Mr. Malkin, your address?
22 Sagamore Lane is my home
Okay.
in East Brunswick.
Thank you. Mike is
I'm here
yours.
regarding my property in East Brunswick at number 1 Ruth, R-U-T-H Street. I received finally a notice that there's a redevelopment going underway on Route 18. And it will take either some or all of my property at number 1, lot 6.02. I have a business there. I have an objection to that happening there at that site. I'd like to know what we can do about it, and I'd like to stop whatever is going to happen from happening.
And you're on the corner of 18 and Ruth? Is that where number
Exactly.
1 is?
That's my corner.
Mr. Wendell, can you comment on that?
As chairman of the redevelopment agency, this redevelopment plan that is being, or was adopted tonight, is not involving any of your property.
It says specifically,
No.
block 6.02. That's my block.
I don't know.
Would you like to
But,
take a look
it-
at the map?
It does not include any of the property in Area 1, which is what your property is. Your property is Area 1. We are talking about Area 2A and 3A in this,
Talking about 1A.
well, Area 1 is including 1A, but it is not part of any redevelopment plan that is in place. Well, we have a redevelopment plan in place for those properties, but there is no redeveloper and there's no,
Not according to the papers I have here.
Mr. Crisculo, can you chime in on this, or, because I'm looking at,
It is in an area in need of redevelopment. That was designated years ago. The changes don't affect that area, but 1A and so on was put into the redevelopment zone many years ago.
but this particular redevelopment plan
Has nothing
does
to
not
do with
affect that area.
No, this updated plan doesn't affect that area, but it is in an area in need of redevelopment.
Correct.
Has been for years.
What is the new plan?
But it affects all the property not on your side of the Route Street. They haven't done anything for your property at all.
Mayor, Mike Peter.
There's been no discussions.
I'm looking at your papers.
I'm telling you, your property is in a redevelopment zone that was designated many years ago. But the redevelopment plan that was adopted here and was amended just tonight does not involve your property.
And therefore, anything else on that side of the street, which includes the firehouse,
Okay,
that's where Miss Winter's home is on your side of the property. And I think there is one house, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wendell, in between the firehouse and your property. That house is not,
correct.
That is not designated.
not being affected by this.
According to this,
We are looking
it
at an
only takes
amended
my-
plan.
It only takes block 6.02.
And I do believe, as you've heard from a couple of people up here, it's referencing what was established 2015, pre-me as mayor?
No,
Or is it all on you? Is it all during you? I'm just looking at it, I'm trying to get
I think we
a date.
changed the
We changed
area
the
designation to the redevelopment was done under Mayor Stahl in
Okay.
2015 as a non-condemnation redevelopment zone. It's changed to a condemnation redevelopment zone, but the redevelopment plan here only applies to the properties that are not yours. All of the properties in what we call 2A and 3A, which is not your property.
What about 1A?
That is not part of, you're part of a redevelopment zone. That might be why your lot and block number is listed. But any of the changes that are involved in this amendment do not involve your property at all.
Okay.
Not from what we see here.
You've already been designated as an area in need of redevelopment approximately 5 years ago.
Yet nothing has happened.
That is correct.
And now we are in a phase of redoing the plan. And the plan does not affect anything on the south side of Ruth Street.
Well, if that's true, I just need it in writing.
It is in writing. That's what
Not
this,
here.
yes, it is. Look at the plan. That's mapped out for you. Does any of it involve your
I
property?
just had an attorney look this over.
You
My-
could,
the
you're
papers that I
welcome to,
received-
you're welcome to hire an attorney. You're welcome to have your attorney talk to ours. But be assured that this redevelopment amendment does not involve your property. If it involved your property, we would have had to talk to you. We can't just come in and take your property.
Well, that was my thought.
Well, but that's not
that
happening.
you
Well, to
can't
be
just take the
clear-
property.
To be clear, you're still in an area in need of redevelopment. That status has not changed,
Correct.
but that was designated before COVID.
Okay.
What does that mean now?
That's all I'm going to say on the topic.
If you want to come up afterwards, I'll show you the map, which is in this document that they agreed on. And the area of redevelopment that is being altered or amended does not show your property. And I could show that to you, but I'm more than willing to do that after the council meeting.
It does not extend.
Well, that's
outside
okay.
of Route Street.
But according to these papers, and 1A is marked very clearly on here,
Because you're part of a redevelopment zone, but we've not put any plan in place for that piece of property. I don't want to belabor this. We're saying the same thing about 5 times now.
what if that plan gets put in place?
There is no.
There is no plan.
Right,
Not at this time.
And if there is a plan, it would have to be discussed with you.
right.
Okay. I'd be glad to see that with you.
Okay.
Okay. Certainly.
And if you're not happy with that, sir, you can set up an appointment for you to come in if you feel that the documentation is not enough. So I guess you're next.
I guess. Yes.
And you are,
My name is Alex Trackman, 47.
spell the last name,
Trakhman.
and your address, Mr. Trackman?
47 Dorchester Drive in East Brunswick.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, dear council. I'm here to ask your help in repairing of Lenape Park tennis courts. It's my second time coming in here. I had numerous calls with the park department. For second year, those tennis courts are unusable, and no one can give me an answer when it's going to be fixed or repaired or replaced.
So that's the comment. The tennis courts are not in place.
No, they're in place, they're just in disrepair
Okay.
for second year.
And you tried calling the
I
Parks
spoke with the
and Rec Department?
Yes, with the Mike Rosner.
Mr. Reisner?
With the Rosner, and he said, as of right now, there is no plans
Okay,
to do so. I sent email to Mr. Mayor. I
okay.
didn't get an answer, probably because he doesn't have an answer yet. So I'm here in person asking if anybody has an answer, when it's going to be
Okay, the
done.
answer would be give Mr. Reisner another call.
Okay, when?
It's tomorrow, anywhere after, I'm sure they come into work at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Give Mr. Reisner a call.
You think you're going to have an answer tomorrow for me?
I would hope so.
Okay, because I...
Use my name, Council President McAvoy.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I will be glad to answer that, Mr. President, if you'd like to. I think the...
You want a
call to Mr.
clarification, Mr.
Yeah,
Criscuolo?
there's a capital improvement plan that was put forth by Mr. Reisner that went to the Recreation Parks Advisory Committee. There's issues over in that particular park because we're dealing with the South River that comes up behind it, which is a tidal basin that expands and contracts. These courts have been a problem simply because the tide comes in and could heave it and drop it, and it's cracking. So they tried a new product of mats a couple years ago, which also had failed. This is the park that we discussed approximately a month ago when Councilwoman Zembecki presented to you all that we were looking to put apply for a grant for $1 million to make a fully handicap accessible park and playground over there, which is in the front of the property that's not affected by the tidal changes. So there's water that comes in, it freezes, it thaws, it cracks the courts. At this particular time, we did not feel that was on the list because we have plenty of tennis courts throughout the remainder of the town, and this would be like throwing good money against something that's bad. It could potentially happen again because the way the tide works, with the amount of rain that we had on Saturday, it came all the way up. So at this particular point in time, there's no way to install drainage or anything else there. And with our limited capital that we can do this year, which includes the cricket fields and the lighting and everything else, we're not sure what we're going to do there yet after we applied for the federal grant for the fully handicap accessible playground. So at this point in time, we're not going to do anything because from an engineering standpoint, it just doesn't make sense because it's just going to happen again. So if it was your own property, you probably wouldn't do it either. It'd just be like throwing money out the window. But we got plenty enough tennis courts and pickleball courts throughout the municipality. As you know, you've been gracious enough to resurface quite a few of them over the last year. But that park is problematic. There's huge reeds that grow in marshlands, and I invite you all to take a ride over there and take a look at it. The way the tidal works there, it's a rough environment, and that's why they haven't been repaired. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Crisculo. Mr. Trackman, you come back to the microphone, please.
If I may,
Yeah,
Sure, when Mr. Trackman comes up, just 1 second. Councilman Wendell?
and to your point, Mr. Crisculo, we have been extremely diligent over the past 7 to 10 years on this council in repairing and trying different methods at different tennis facilities within our parks. We've done over Bicentennial Park, we've replaced all of Country Lane Park, we've replaced Community Park. All of those tennis courts are brand new. You know, I say brand new because they're probably only 5 to 7 years old. This one was a different method we tried first to try to get a replaced surface at a much more economical price. We realized after a period of time that that was not the method to go. We tried other methods, which were much more expensive, and,
and they,
you know,
Mayor Cohn?
yeah, I mean, and Mike's been spending a lot of time, while he has lots of parks throughout the township that he has to take care of, trying to work with the different contractors to, one, establish what it was that caused the problem to begin with, because you can't figure out how to fix a problem if you don't know what the problem is to begin with. And all of the companies can't come up with a real good answer for why it's happening, and nobody so far has been able to promise that it won't happen again. So the township, before they're reinvesting in that park, needs to determine whether or not that's even doable. And it might just simply be that a tennis court at that site isn't really doable. We may need to do something else. But to keep throwing money away when each method that we've tried has failed is just a waste of money.
Thank you, Mayor Cohn. Mr. Trackman?
Thank you so much for answering me so quickly. I do hold engineering degree myself. In the last 15 years that I have used those tennis courts, water never, I don't remember ever, water would come close to those tennis courts. So I don't know, where do you have a data that they got
It's the
flooded?
ground.
It's under the ground,
It's under the ground.
yes.
So, but it doesn't cover the courts.
No, it's under the ground. So it freezes and thaws and freezes and thaws, and it keeps causing cracks and bubbles. And they've actually seen some retraction and expansion of the court that even the person who put it down has never seen anywhere else.
Okay, I see. I understand. Thank you so much. I just want to let you know that those courts represent 20% of the courts in East Brunswick.
Yeah, we know. We don't want to lose courts,
We
but
don't
we're
wanna
not
lose
going to
courts.
waste money either.
I
If-
understand. I'm not asking you to throw money away, but no one ever gave me this complete answer as I had it today. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I hope we can find solution to fix those courts. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else wish to take the podium and speak with the council president. Please.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. President, Tom Ingrasani, Deerfield Road. I had somebody come over my house this morning to check my water meter. She checked it out and it was reading colons, or something like that, all commas. And she says, something's wrong with your meter, we can't read it. So she says, your bill would be $660. So something was wrong. So she gave me a card to call, and I called the number up to come in tomorrow between 10 and 12 to check out the wiring to the outside reading. And so let's hope that fixes it. The other thing was, as far as like a spring cleanup with leaves and twigs, what do we do with that? Could you answer that for me?
Well, hang on. Do we, Mr. Criscuolo, I mean,
As always, the third week in each month is twig pickup. So you got to cut them in 4-foot lengths. They can't be greater than 50 pounds. And you call DPW, and they'll come out and retrieve those branches and so on. And then they mulch them up and they put them in the pile. Some people utilize them. Sometimes we use them in parks or whatever. Leaf pickup is generally a fall type of activity, but you're more than welcome to bring those over to the recycle center and put it in the receptacle, because we want to make sure they don't get it in the landfill, that they go in the leaf piles to get turned over and returned into topsoil and mulch and so on.
So if we put leaves in the bed, we gotta bring them down ourselves, or would they pick it up, you know?
No, you'd have to bring them down.
Put them in a bag and,
yeah.
that's
And
just.
we're encouraging people, especially this year, there's been a lot of seminars on this, is mulch your lawn. Mulch it. There's no need to bag it. Likewise with leaves. If you only have a little bit of leaves on the lawn, especially over the winter, they've decayed. They make great fertilizer if you just run them over. I don't put anything in my trash, just run them over, and it makes good
between
fertilizer.
Shrubs and everything like that, they still have some, you know. it's,
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, the other thing was, about 6 or 8 weeks ago, I asked a question to that EPA person. He never got back to me. So if you could, try to find out.
No, just, I put that in your lap. That's the
Yeah, I know. He
the
doesn't
information
answer
that
me
my
back.
wife put together for you.
He doesn't answer
you
me
can keep
back.
calling.
I'm getting annoyed, you know?
I've spoken to Mr. Gross.
Okay,
Yeah.
If you want me to answer his question?
please.
You call the Environmental Division of the Health Department. That's not anything that's regulated by the Health Department.
Oh, EPA, I thought it was.
No, it was the Middlesex County Health Department you called.
You gave me the wrong number.
So it's not regulated. They believe there's no cause for concern of EFUs from a charging station. So, but the gentleman that you're calling, he tried to explain to you that they don't measure that. But we're calling the health department.
All right, but he never got back to me. I called a couple of times, and he'll say, oh, I'll get back to you.
And when I saw Mr. Gross, I asked him, and he gave me that answer. I didn't realize he didn't call you back,
Okay.
but that's his answer. It's not regulated.
Oh, all right. As far as bulk pickup,
Call.
is that the second weekend, second pickup of the week?
got a call.
You got a call, right? But they still will pick up bulk
They'll
pickup?
give you a date.
Okay, that's what I want to know. I did that already, just want to make sure. So, all right.
You call the number, they'll give you a date, the first available date on the schedule, you'll get, if it works for you, and then they'll come and pick it up.
All
It's
right,
been
'cause
working quite
My
nicely.
neighbors are asking me, so I'm just going to tell them what I heard. Thank you very much.
You're welcome,
You're
Mr. Ingrasini. Anyone else wishing to come to the podium? Seeing none, let's close the public portion. And Resolution 24-110, which requires a separate vote. Ms. Lawful, please read.
Resolution requesting approval for authorizing an emergency temporary appropriations in accordance with NJSA 40A:4-20.
May I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second?
Mr. Criscuolo, clarification?
We're rolling into the fourth month. I'm sorry. We're rolling into the fourth month of the year. If you remember, at the beginning of the year, our finance department put together a temporary budget for the first 3 months, and we amended some things in early March. Angel Aberdeen's group put that together, and this is to get us at least through the next quarter, I believe. And this is because we don't have an adopted budget. Tonight, we're introducing the budget, and then the budget will be sent to the state for a review, and then we'll adopt it probably sometime last meeting in April or so. And then at that point, if it's approved by the council, then we'll go on to a permanent budget. But this is just so we have enough money to continue operating until our budget is approved by the state and approved by this council.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
Council President McAvoy?
Yes, Resolution 24-111. Ms. Lawful, please read.
Resolution authorizing the introduction of the municipal budget of the Township of East Brunswick for the year 2024.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We'll do roll call after our mayor comments. Mayor Cohn?
Thank you, Council President. Well, for the tax year 2024, I'm proud to introduce to this council, which after it's approved becomes your budget, a municipal increase in taxes of 0.56%, which has been in line with the increases we've been having, marginal increases we've been having actually ever since taking office. In the 7 years since taking office, the average tax increase for the municipal portion of your tax bill has been under 1% per year. So that's pretty good. And I believe that we've made an earnest effort to try to keep to that commitment of not raising taxes in town beyond people's level of comfort. This tax increase amounts to $11.97 for an average tax holder, average assessed house in East Brunswick, equating to 98 cents a month. I went to Wawa today to look for something that was 98 cents, and the only thing I could find was this little itty-bitty cheese stick. 98 cents a month. So I think that 98 cents a month increase includes a balanced budget, which I'm required to provide to you. It includes the $800,000 increase that we can attribute to the twice a week pickup of garbage. The entire garbage contract amounted to for this year, an $800,000 increase. It also includes the over $1 million in losses we're experiencing in the parking deck. As many know, our parking decks have not come back since pre-COVID. So in that regard, we were behind. So on top of all of that, we've not let any employees go, which I think is a tremendous job on our behalf, and in fact includes some notable increases. We are bringing on 2 new police officers in the township and 2 full-time employees in the Department of Public Works. So not only have we not let anybody go, but this 98 cents a month is also bringing on employees that we could desperately use in departments that have been pretty lean over the last couple of years. So this is really great news, I think, for the township. I want to give full thanks to Joe, who's on a daily basis our administrator, making sure that we keep departments trim and lean, to Angel for putting together such a terrific budget for us and being a good steward of the taxpayers' money. And of course, all of our directors who were told from the beginning of the year that they really needed to work hard to try to keep to flat budgets, that we want to provide as many things for the township as we can possibly do, but at a level that we could afford. And I think that they've all done a great job in doing so for the residents of the township. If you even just think about garbage contract alone, the average taxpayer pays about $10,000, $11,000 a year in taxes. 20% of that goes to the town. So you're essentially paying for all of the township services in that $2,000. Residents were just told tonight that the garbage contract alone is about $600 of that 2,000. We had thought in the beginning that we might have to cut back on leaf pickup, and residents got upset about that, found out from their contractors that if they had to do that themselves, it would be another $1,000 a year. So that's $1,600 of the $1,800 just in refuse. That's not police, DPW, all of our departments, Parks and Rec, senior programs. So I think that to only go up 98 cents a month and to provide all those services on an average of $2,000 per household, I don't frankly think we could do better. So I'm proud to give this to the council. I hope you take that up. With any questions, we're more than happy on the administration side to answer that. You'll be voting tonight on its introduction. The full vote, the budget then gets sent to the state for its approval in the Department of Community Affairs, and then we will be asking, hopefully, at our May meeting, that's anticipated that all of those approvals will be done by that point for a final approval of the budget.
Thank you, Mayor Cohn. Council?
Great work, mayor and departments.
Right. Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes, I just want to thank Angel Albanese for spending hours going over the budget, very detailed, explaining every aspect. There is no doubt that in our township, there is immense fiscal responsibility. And that was, I can repeat everything that you just said, Mayor, but we've increased services, we've increased positions, we've increased items to the senior center, to Department of Recs, and much more. Part of that also because of grants. Our directors and employees spend an enormous amount of time looking for grants in order to enhance our township, and they do a great job of it. And that was clear in the budget that you presented, Angel, so that was a piece of it. But it's just such smart fiscal responsibility on your end, Joe, Mayor, Council, and all of our directors. I am very, very proud of the work that's done here. And, you know, I was worried about this budget. This one I was worried about because we knew we had the increased garbage, and then we knew our residents really, really, really demanded the loose leaf pickup this year. And that was a problem. We had to figure that out. How was that going to work? How are we going to be able to do that? Because there are stringent state mandates with that, where the time period of when the leaves have to be picked up. And that required hiring more employees to keep that timeline. But we were able to do it. And I think we have something very, to say, what, 97 cents, or what was it, right, a month?
98 cents a month.
Yeah, amazing, right? So thank you to Angel, thank you to everybody for their diligence. I think we're a role model. Yes.
Yes, Councilwoman Winston.
I just want to second what Councilwoman Zambicki stated. Joe, you're a great steward of our resources and our money. And Angel, I deeply appreciate all the time you took to explain to me all the complexities and the incredible amount of work it took to put that together is inspiring, to say the least, and deeply appreciated. Thank you.
Council President.
Councilman Behal.
Yeah, I would also like to thank Mayor Joe and Angel and all the department directors for working together and keeping our taxes almost flat without compromising any of the township services. So thank you very much.
I'll finish it off by sharing with you the budget. And you can see, it goes on, and 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 goes on. And I'm not crying about it. You have elected us to be the stewards of this particular document. And the amount of time that every one of us has put in, not saying it's overwhelming, because it's a plan to ensure that there is good governance in our community. So with regard to my notes, number one was the vetting of the 2 police officers, so we're not going to talk about that. The mayor took care, that was big. And I'm sure there's going to be more to come, because safety is probably the number one priority in our community. Solid waste was number 2. Everything's been covered there. We've done enough on that one. But, as you know, I'm going to throw in the cleanliness of everything. You know, used to put the 2 cans out and the loose leaf, and maybe one of the bags ripped, and you didn't feel like picking it up, and it was this machine comes, it picks, boom, 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 moves to the next one. It's great. How about gasoline prices? Right? Something that you just sort of take for granted, but when you think about all the vehicles that we have here in the community, especially with regard to police department and how they move around the community, keeping us safe, keeping an eye on that dollar and cent, kudos to Mayor Cohen. I can continue with the library, Parks and Rec, ice skating rink, improvements, so let me praise where praise is due. And I'm reading now. As the mayor said, 0.56% increase, which translates into $1 a month on the average. This council, and therefore the community, say thank you and job well done. And let's move to, for the good of the cause. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just one
Mayor.
clarification. When you say that the average assessed house is $100,000, realize that we only tax and 20 to 25% of the assessed value. So a house in East Brunswick assessed at $100,000 is worth about 4.
Clerk, would you please read the following items?
We have our own range in town. Why are we contracting with?
Yeah, this is something, this is for long guns. This is for shotguns, special type of equipment that we have, that we've always done outdoors at ranges. In the past, they used to travel all the way down to South Jersey. The chief and I worked with Saraville, who's really close.
Yeah.
That we can, that we would go there. And in the future, we have open conversations where they would use our range at time too. So we worked on this. This was introduced last year to save us time, commuting time.
Yeah, I remember it was 1 year.
Yeah, they always just wanted to do 1-year agreement, which I was fine with. And we're hoping that when they're ready, meeting several, that they'd be interested in doing a shared service for reciprocal type things in our range.
And as I read, we only pay for our usage.
Yes.
It's not an annual fee or anything like
Yeah,
that.
it's for when we have to do the qualifications for
Okay.
different teams within the police department.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Therefore, can I get a motion for resolutions 24-112 through resolution 24-117?
So move.
Second?
Second,
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Now we can move over to go to the cause. Anything? Anything? Okay, let's move for adjournment. Those in favor, please say it. Say aye. The ayes have it, and good night, everyone.